If doors didn't exist, would people still build houses? If you could simply walk up to your favorite foods in a field and eat them, would you still grow them in fields? You wouldn't. You'd have some sort of mechanical means to transport food to your house or car. The reason that people still live in houses is that they're cheap, easy to maintain, and secure. The same applies to doors. They're not an important part of our lives, but we still need them for practicality's sake. You're not going to stop using doors, no matter how good your smart door becomes. Even if your door can open automatically when you get near it, there are still times when you want to open it yourself. And when you're at home, there are still times when you want to lock it from the outside. That's why you will always have a door, and doors will never go away. So what happens if you put two doors on top of one another? What happens when you build a door on the other side of a door? What if you put a door on top of a door on top of a door? What if you have doors inside of doors? And what if those doors have doors inside them too? You'll have doors that can't be opened. You'll have rooms that no one can enter. You'll have rooms that are perfectly secure, with no way in or out. You'll have rooms that can only be opened from inside, and rooms that can only be opened from outside. You'll have rooms that are totally impossible to open at all. You'll have the world's first prison. The world's first prison is the most obvious example of a locked door. It doesn't look like anything special. It's just a plain old door. But it has the power to keep someone locked inside forever, to hold the key inside forever, to ensure that nobody can ever get out. You could use it to lock away a prisoner. It's a very simple solution, and a very brutal one. There are many prisons built from locked doors. But the world's first prison is a locked door that is locked on the inside as well as the outside. It can keep even a person who is already locked inside, locked forever, forever, forever. The world's first prison is the world's first horror story. But locked doors aren't the only way to create a prison. If you have a room with no doors in or out, that room will be a prison without a key. It's easy to imagine a prison made out of nothing more than solid rock walls and a ceiling. But you could also make a prison out of anything that blocks off all the exits and keeps people trapped inside. Walls of ice, walls of water, walls of poison gas. And if you wanted to be really cruel, you could set the whole prison on fire and watch the trapped prisoners burn alive. All these are very obvious ways to create a prison. But there's one much more subtle way to create a prison that is even worse than all the rest. And I'm sure that you'll have guessed it before I even start to explain it. I'm talking about the world's first trapdoor prison. This is a prison that has no door at all. Not even the simplest of doors with just a lock on one side and a handle on the other. In fact, this prison doesn't have any doors at all. This prison has only one way in and one way out. And it's so simple that I don't know if it's even worth calling a prison at all. It's just a single trapdoor, which is the most boring kind of door there is. It's not even big enough to fit through itself, and it can only be opened by lifting it up from underneath. If you were trapped inside this prison and you wanted to get out, all you could do was to lift up the trapdoor and hope that it wasn't locked or held down from the other side. And if you did manage to open it, you'd be facing all sorts of new problems. There would be no way for you to close the door behind you. There might be no way to block the opening with something heavy enough to keep people out, or something strong enough to keep the wind and rain out, or something slippery enough to stop people climbing over the door. And if you couldn't think of anything to do, then you could always give up and throw yourself back into the prison. There's no way to escape from this trapdoor prison unless you're willing to give up. And even then, you might find yourself trapped again and forced to start lifting the trapdoor over and over and over again until your arms got tired or your legs got sore and you just had to give up in the end. The trapdoor prison is the world's first horror story, and it's also the world's first nightmare. The most basic kind of nightmare is where there's something scary coming towards you but you can't move because you're trapped in place. The trapdoor prison is the world's first horror story and the world's first nightmare, and it's also the world's first locked door. It's the world's first prison in a way that makes even the most basic of prisons seem like a piece of cake. Now that you've seen how easy it is to make a prison, let's consider the opposite problem: how to make an escape. If you're thinking about prisons, then I bet that you're thinking about how easy it would be to escape. It would be easy to break out of a locked door, but breaking out of a solid wall of ice would be very difficult indeed.